There are many troops in Age of Empires 3, each with their own health, damage, abilities, etc. But there is one that can hardly even be considered a troop. Can you beat Age of Empires 3 only using priests? Now, with the Mitten Squad style intro aside, let me actually explain the challenge. When I say beat, I mean win a game of skirmish against a bot set to the easy difficulty. The hours and days of torture that is beating the single-player campaign using only a gaggle of holy men is not something that I'm willing to endure with a subscriber count of 75. But this is something I can do. So on to the challenge. It all started with a civilization. I chose to be British with a home city name of T-Land and an explorer name of Token Waikai. Doesn't make that much sense, but we'll go with it. Next, I chose to play against the Spanish because they're the easiest civilization to go against in my opinion, and on easy mode, just because. And now the challenge truly begins. I decided that my first goal would be to get to colonial age as fast as possible because the more of a head start I have, the better. I reached the colonial age, built my first church, and the first problem arose. Oh, 200 gold! What? It was here that I realized that this was going to be a lot harder than I'd first presumed. I made my first batch of holy warriors and decided to give them the test of battle. To be honest, they weren't as bad as I first thought they would be, mainly because they have a heal ability, which means they don't do that much damage, but they can also live a lot longer because they can just heal the entire group back up to full health. It was here that the second problem arose. Priests can't attack buildings. I did, however, find a technical workaround for this by training mortars because they can only attack buildings, so it would be the priests doing most of the damage. It is at this point that I should probably mention that I am allowing myself to use outposts because they technically don't move, so they don't really attack, they're more for defense, and I will also be using a fort, but I'm not putting that in my hometown, so yeah. I reached the industrial age and trained some mortars, and I was officially ready to wreak havoc with my army of priests. The enemy ran at my army, and the battle began. This was hilarious because my army actually started winning, but then the enemy rolled up with more people and I accidentally used all the heal abilities at once right here, so we ended up losing the battle. A few priests and the mortars made it out, however, so I'd call this a win for me. And now a time lapse of the entirety of this battle. So I lost, but I knew what I did wrong, so all I really had to do was build up another army of priests and throw everything I had at them, and I'd probably win. So I built up another army of priests and threw them at the enemy, and half of them at the entire enemy force that was trying to attack my fort. Thankfully, they were all going for the trading post so I could have the priests beat them to death one by one, as the other force strolled right into the enemy town. The mortars destroyed all the buildings while the priests defended them from all the units that the enemy tried to throw at them. It was a beautiful sight for the next 5 minutes, as the enemy would try to build new buildings to train troops out of, and the mortars would destroy the buildings, and then the priests would beat the creativity out of the settlers until they died. Walt Whitman once said that there is nothing as beautiful as death, and I couldn't agree more. Then the priests started chasing the settlers around, which was pretty hilarious as they had the same movement speed, so it was just an endless game of chase. But at long last, after minutes of chasing, the enemy finally resigned, and I officially beat Age of Empires 3 only using priests. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video or you want to see me try and do the whole campaign with only priests, like and subscribe. If not, okay. Bye bye.